Welcome, guys. Welcome to a late night edition of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. I am George. This is my second stream of the day. And in fact, I was talking to myself again without starting the stream. So that's the second time I've done that too. But anyways, you know what? I was telling myself not to do it. I was telling myself not to do a stream. You know what? Let it go. But you know what? My good friend, Jim, he told me, you know what? Let's have a good time because Bitcoin is above 18,000 and that is what I'm here to do with you guys. How could anyone sleep right now with Bitcoin above 18,000? Not just a little bit above 18,167. It went up above to 18,200. Is it out of control? Is Bitcoin out of control right now? that is what everyone is wondering, right? It's going up a little bit too quick recently, faster than what we're used to, right? And usually when things go up this fast, you know, it means that there's a good chance it could come down. But if you guys been watching my streams, I've been telling you this is to be expected. Just this morning, if you guys watch my morning show, I talked about how 17.7 was the last resistance point for Bitcoin. That is it. 17.7. And then the next stop is 20,000. There is no more stops. Bitcoin in 2017 went from 77 to 20,000 in a single day and then came back down the second day, right? So that's where we are. We just broke through 77 this morning. We had a little bit of trouble. Even during my live stream, we went to 77, came down, went up again, came down, right? So 77 was a weak resistance. Let's put it that way. Now we have broken through. It seems like Asia, possibly Europe. I don't think Europe's awake yet, but Asia is definitely doing the buying right now. There's a lot of buying all over the place. Okay, that's why Bitcoin is going up so much. Yeah, it is exciting, but also a little bit scary, right? But anyways, when you feel scared, that's when you need some liquid courage, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna pour myself a drink here. It is nighttime. I know a lot of you guys are looking to get to bed, but you know what? You should have a drink with me. It'll help you sleep better too. So I'm pouring myself a drink. Let's have a lively discussion. I don't have that many articles up. It's pretty much the same ones from this morning, right? Yeah, Europe will be awake in a couple hours. It's 4:30 in UK. Maybe some people are awake. Pedro, welcome. I usually don't see you in my night streams. Marco, you're here. Wow, you're at work. Where are you? Are you in the US or not in the US? Here we go. I added a little some whiskey with a splash of Coke, or Diet Coke, I should say. Alan, welcome. It's exciting, man. It's really, really exciting. It's been Michael, thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, by the way, I want to mention that I want to give a shout out to someone on Twitter, and I'm gonna bring up I'm gonna bring him up real quick. I don't know why that defaults. That should not be defaulting. All right, so notifications. Yeah, a lot of excitement tonight. A lot of people responding, but I did want to bring up this one person, Daryl Clark. If you're watching, he donated to the Vegas Fund $100 of Bitcoin. You know what the funny thing about that is, at the time it was $100. Now it's probably $120, right? So that's the beauty with Bitcoin. So I know a lot of you guys are looking to meet up at Vegas, possibly with your new Lambo or new Tesla or new significant other or whatever, right? But if you want to meet up at Vegas, we got to plan it out, right? Maybe this year, not so good. Next year, I think it'll be a good year, right? So if you want to meet up in Vegas, you want to help make that happen, make sure you donate to the Vegas Fund. But thank you, Daryl. That was a good one. Anyways, so to move on, Bitcoin is still at 18,200. So not too bad. Not too bad at all, right? Tube Special, thank you. Will 499 buy us a breather? I wouldn't buy here, still bullish, but we do know if there's new money and where from. Well, cheers from New York. Blade Runner, thank you. Everyone that's donating, thank you. Where's the money coming from? Well, the biggest place the money is coming from is Grayscale. Grayscale now has under over 10 billion in crypto assets. Just this morning, they tweeted out saying that they have now acquired over 500,000 Bitcoins. And most of that came from this year. Actually, the second half of this year. They even said so. They said, Michelle, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, my channel was banned for a long time. I kind of screwed my channel up. Hopefully, I'll pick it up again. But Grayscale said they bought over 500,000 Bitcoins. And just this last week, they purchased $265 million worth of Bitcoin. 265 million within a single week, all right? And why is this happening? Not that Grayscale themselves are that rich. It's institutional investors. They are itching. They're starting to feel the FOMO, right? They want a piece of the pie. Something I've been saying to you guys for the last 3 years, that there's just not that many Bitcoin to go around. Right? And now there's literally no new Bitcoins out on the market. When I say no new Bitcoin, because every single one that the miners mine and dare to sell, most likely they're not selling. Most likely they're hoarding at this point. But if they dare to sell, every single one is being gobbled up by Grayscale. They themselves alone, they purchase more Bitcoins per week than the number of Bitcoins being mined at this time. And it's been like that for quite some time. So there is actually no new Bitcoins out circulating right now. They are buying literally every single one. And that is why Bitcoin has been so consistent. We haven't seen big pumps, okay? Like slow and steady until the last few days. Now it's escalating because I've been saying FOMO is starting to build, right? We're starting to hear people talk about Bitcoin. But if you look at Google search trends, it's still very low. So it hasn't really built up yet, but it will. It will, and I'm talking about retail investors. But institutional investors, they are FOMOing. They're buying. Not only do they see Bitcoin as the fastest horse in the race, as Paul Dedore Jones would say, but also they're buying because they're trying to prepare for the worst. They're trying to prepare for economic downfall and inflation, all that. So they're actually viewing Bitcoin as a true hedge now, as a store value that is decoupled away from everything else. That is the reason why they're buying. They're buying billions upon billions upon billions upon billions. And look at this. CME with their Bitcoin futures is now seeing record high for open interest. Well, no duh, because institutional investors, they want to invest in Bitcoin. A lot of them, I would say actually most of them, don't actually want to physically buy Bitcoin. They just don't trust going to Coinbase or custody or whatever. They want to buy something that's easy. So one, they could just give their money to Grayscale and let them handle it. And two, you could buy Bitcoin futures and options, and they're all-time highs, right? So that is why Bitcoin is going up, even without FOMO, without retail FOMO. And that retail FOMO is building. And after we pass 20,000, it's really going to build, right? It's going to be like, kind of like back in 2017, right? So 2021 is going to be an explosive year, in my opinion, right? I've been saying this for a while. Those of you guys that's been buying dollar cost averaging, buying the dips, holding for the last 3 years, congratulations. I know many people have spoken to me privately. They have accumulated a vast amount of Bitcoin over the years, and they are about to become Bitcoin millionaires, right? Literally within the last 3 years, just by holding and buying Bitcoin low and dollar cost averaging. So congratulations, any of you guys that are going to become a Bitcoin millionaire soon. Remember me, remember George, remember Vegas Fund. I'll shamelessly take your donation. But yeah, I mean, that's the case, right? A lot of people think that, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road is so far. I want to become a millionaire tomorrow. But you know what? Think about it. It's only been 3 years since 2017, right? Years pass by really, really quickly. Blink of an eye is 5 years, right? 5 years from now, guaranteed, Bitcoin will be a lot higher than where it is now. A lot higher. So even now, as it's still pumping 18,330, as it continues to pump upwards towards 20,000, this is still nothing compared to where it will be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Most of us will still be alive, be able to enjoy this. I can't imagine where it's going to be in 5 years or 10 years. I mean, maybe Bitcoin becomes a digital currency that a lot of people think will dominate the internet, or maybe one day it will display fiat or USD. And when that happens, Bitcoin will be above $1 million each, right? So who knows where it's going to go. But right now, it's time to enjoy it. I think after 20,000, we're going to see some crazy FOMO happen. I think it's starting tomorrow. You're going to start hearing on CNBC, Bloomberg, Newsweek, all these publications, Fox News, I said CNBC already, Yahoo Finance. I'll guarantee you every single one is going to have a story about Bitcoin and talking about how it's above 18,000, approaching all-time high, right? And technically where we are now is already uncharted territory, because I mentioned last time Bitcoin went up this high, it was very brief. Man, look at the look at the weekly candlestick. That was crazy. Oh, Blade Runner, thank you. Appreciate it. I know some of you guys don't want to spend your Bitcoin. I get that, but I appreciate that, Blade Runner. I will use that for the Vegas fund. But, I showed you guys this morning, but let's just zoom in a little bit here. Let's go back to 2017. Let's go to the day chart. All right, come on now. Let's remove the Bollinger Bands here. Okay, so looking at the day chart, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So I have a couple lines drawn here, but take a look. The 77, Jeff, I appreciate that. Yes, Citibank followed me. They copied me. I said 300,000 by the end of 2021, and people laughed at that. Now they're not laughing, and now Citibank is saying the same thing. But anyways, so look at this. So 77 is truly the last resistance. Okay, that is why this morning I said 77, and then it's 20,000. And the reason why I said that is because look at the day chart. First time Bitcoin hit 17.7, it spiked up and came down. So it couldn't even hold, within a day. Second day, it tried, couldn't. Went back down. And then after a few days, it tried again. Nope. Tried again. Nope. Tried again. Nope. And finally, it broke through. And when it broke through, there's no other stops. Within a single day, it went up all the way up to about 20,000. Then it started coming down. It couldn't hold, right? So it went from 77 to 20,000 in a single day. And then the next few days, it started coming down. But you get my point, right? There is no other stops here. This is why I was saying this morning, after 17.7, we may just shoot up straight to 20,000, just like in 2017, right? And it's looking like it wants to, because now we're really starting to fly. Bitcoin is really starting to get a little bit out of control, which means I gotta take a drink, take a sip here. Yes, Hellcat Crypto is correct. For Bitcoin to move this much requires enormous amount of money. And right now, the buying's coming from Asia, right? From China, Japan, South Korea. This is probably their morning, mid-afternoon, right around there. They're starting to feel the FOMO, 18.4. This is not stopping. This is not stopping right now, right? So we could be seeing 19,000 like right around the corner here. It's kind of insane. I gotta zoom in. There we go. I'll zoom down a little bit, right? How many of you guys, raise your hands, right, regret that you didn't just go all in when this happened earlier this year? Time flies, right? And it's easy to remember that Bitcoin or I should say easy to forget, that Bitcoin was at 3,800 earlier this year. This year, where I'm not talking about 2018 or 2019. I'm talking about literally 8 months ago, right? Bitcoin fell below $4,000. And how many of you guys feel foolish now, not just like mortgaging your house and selling your cars and going all in at this point, right? Obviously, those are bad examples. You should never go on like that. But still, I mean, that's just Bitcoin, right? That's just Bitcoin and crypto in general. Sometimes you just feel like it's the worst idea ever. But if you stay patient, you stay consistent, you continue to buy, right? The dips, you call dollar cost average over the years. It doesn't even have to be over the years. Had you bought, I don't know, you bought at $10,000 worth of Bitcoin at 4,000, right? Now we're talking about 4x, more than 4x, almost 5x from there, right? So your 10,000 is almost $50,000 within 8 months with 500%, right? That's a very, very short time frame to make 500%. And if Bitcoin continues on, it's going to be a lot more. The year's not over yet, right? So kind of shows you the power of Bitcoin. That's why I still believe, despite the fact that Bitcoin is at 18,000, right? Maybe right now, right now is not the best time to buy. But if you can, you're still dollar cost averaging, this is still the right idea, right? It doesn't matter. I've said this before. It's hard to listen before. 6,000, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 18,000. Your buying now is starting to get expensive. It's going to cost you $18,375 for one single Bitcoin. Yes, very, very expensive. But imagine when it's 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, right? It's going to cost you $100,000 to buy one Bitcoin at that time. Just take a second to think about it. If it's at 100,000, it will cost you $100,000 to buy one Bitcoin. With $100,000 now, you could at least buy 6, 7 Bitcoins now, right? Big difference. There's a big difference, right? So I still think this is still the time to accumulate. I said this morning, I'm not sure when is not time to accumulate anymore. If Bitcoin continues to go up to 40,000, 50,000, does that mean you stop accumulating? I don't know. That would be a hard one. I don't know when when the time comes, I guess I'll have to decide. But right now, it's not that time. So we'll see. All right, I said a lot. Oh, even I didn't mention Mike Novogratz this morning also said he thinks after 20,000, Bitcoin's going to go to 65,000, right? Purely because the network has taken over, whatever that means. I think what he's really saying is FOMO. But anyways, I'll turn to you guys and let's have a few drinks and watch Bitcoin rise. 18,400. Man, it's pretty nutty. This morning was a 17,400. It got rejected, came back down, and people were like, that's the thing too. People just don't feel that excited right now. There's too many people still waiting for the next doomsday drop, right? But think about this. Even if Bitcoin goes up to say 20,000 tomorrow, right? And then that drop comes, which on the indicator, some are very oversold. So I'll show you that in a little bit. But let's just say tomorrow it hits 20,000 and then the doomsday drop happens and it falls literally $4,000 within, a few hours, right? But guess what? 4,000 off from 20,000 brings Bitcoin down to 16,000. And where was 16,000? That was 2 days ago, right? So it's not like it's a horrific drop. It'll be a good time to start accumulating again, right? But you think about it, even if it falls 4,000 points from 20,000, we're only back to 16,000. Now, can it fall, even more than that? Can it fall to 14,000 or 13,000 or 12,000, right? It could happen. It's unlikely. But if it falls from 20,000 all the way down to 12,000 down here, I will be smashing the buy button like nonstop because I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to wait anymore. I've been waiting for too long, right? Every time Bitcoin goes up and then hovers, there's that uncertainty. And a lot of times I'm like, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait and wait and wait. And waiting has cost me a ton of Bitcoin that I'm not gonna fall for that trap anymore, right? So Bitcoin has a doomsday drop from 20,000 down to 16,000, 15,000, 12,000. I'm going to be smashing the buy button like I've never done before. And I think you guys will too. So I don't even think that'll ever happen. But to just show you, just to warn you guys a little bit. So if you look at the weekly is very high for Bitcoin right now. So you can see weekly RSI is about 83. Stochastic is topped out. And if you look at last few pumps, okay, like for example, the one that we hit 20,000, RSI hit as high as 90. Okay, 90 on the weekly. Right now we're at 84. So what does that mean? We still have room to grow. That's what it means. So it's setting itself up. Bitcoin is setting itself up where once it hits 20,000, okay, the RSI will probably be at 90 or 91 or higher. So it's looking like it wants to come down from there. Okay, so that could happen at 20,000. But then again, this is a different time period. 2017 was driven 100% by FOMO. This huge climb up. Last year, the 4-year cycle, it was after a halving event. But there was literally nothing going on at that time. There was no recession, no worries about inflation, right? You don't have companies that is adopting Bitcoin trading or custody services, right? And you didn't have multi-billionaires come out and saying, I'm adding Bitcoin to my portfolio. And you didn't hear about public trade companies saying, I'm adding Bitcoin as a reserve currency, right? And you didn't have Grayscale that is buying literally $1 billion worth of Bitcoin every month. So none of that happened in 2017. And 2017 was driven by FOMO. We know that retail FOMO, and usually retail FOMO leads to bad things. Right now, Bitcoin is not driven by any of that, right? Or I should say retail FOMO is driven by everything else I said. So it could be that once we hit 20,000, really nothing happens. Maybe it hovers at 20,000 for a little bit, and then it gets ready to move higher. Or FOMO hits, and we just start going higher, right? So it's unknown at this point. I do know the weekly indicator is a little bit high. It's not as high as 2017, so there's still room to grow. But after 20,000 is really the unknown. We really don't know what could happen after 20,000. I mean, I could go as high as I want, and there's no lines drawn because we've never been there before for Bitcoin. So it could go from 20,000 to 50,000 within a week or 2 weeks. It wouldn't be unfathomable. I mean, there's going to be so much FOMO out there, right? So that could happen. Or it could hover there, or we come back down. Maybe it'll come down to 12,000. Or maybe it'll go down even more, and that's when it's time to hit that buy button like you never hit it before, because that'll be the last gift, I think, before Bitcoin becomes unattainable for most people, right? So, very, 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 very exciting time. I don't think we have anything to worry about until 20,000, and then after 20,000 is where it's going to be unknown. But this is right around the corner, okay? This is right around the corner. 19,000 is going to be right around the corner. 20,000 will be here, and when we break through, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts right now. Or it's going to be nuts then, I should say. ETH to 800. I don't mind if it does, but right now it's far, far, far away. It's really trailing BTC. BTC over last week has gone 20%. Ethereum only 6%. Not too good. And unfortunately, something like Link, which has been a high flyer before, only up 5%. So obviously, holding some of these altcoins really hurt, right? It's not like you're losing USD, but you're losing BTC value. So sometimes it hurts, but sometimes altcoins turn around and make you feel happy, right? So it's just kind of a waiting game. The global market cap is now above 500 billion. When was the last time we were above 500 billion? I don't even remember, right? It had to have been 2017. I don't think we've seen 511 billion for market cap for 3 years. that's a long time. That's a long time. Long time. So that's very positive. Very positive. Is everyone drinking in here? Will Coinbase let me stake my ETH when it's time? I don't know. I don't know if Coinbase. Oh, I take that back. I know they do allow staking, but I don't know if once Ethereum moves to Ethereum 2.0, if they'll automatically incorporate that. I don't know. I'm on a night shift, can't drink. Well, you could secretly do it in a broom closet or something. No one will know. You're driving to Micro Center at 11 o'clock? 11 p.m.? I don't know if you're in the Midwest, but are they even open this late? And what are you buying at Micro Center? Yeah, Alan, that's what sucks, right? If the BTC value is stagnant, that's not bad. But if the BTC value is going down, that's bad. You don't want that. Why do you have to go tonight? Why would you not go tomorrow? And are they really open? Vegas is out. What are we going to do? I don't know. We'll have a good time. I plan on getting, a big auditorium, right? Invite a few people, invite a few guests. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll even invite the XRP girls, and maybe someone like Charlie Lee will want to attend. I know I've been bashing Litecoin a lot recently, but it's because I actually mean it. It's not like I'm doing it, out of spite or anything. But anyways, Charlie Lee, despite the fact being founder of Litecoin, he is a Bitcoiner at heart. He'd rather see Bitcoin survive, right, than Bitcoin die and Litecoin survive. That's the honest truth. So I don't know. I'll invite some cool guests, I guess, if they want to attend. Of course, we're all going to have some good laughs, good drinks. We'll show off each other's Lambos or new significant others. We'll have a good time there. We'll definitely have a good time when it's opened up and when COVID is not so so crazy still. T. Smith is calling BTC to $21,789 and then dropped to $15,000. Well, that's not too bad. And I don't doubt it. You're probably using some kind of Fibonacci level or something like that. But whatever. If it falls to 15,000, that was only like a week ago, right? So no one could complain then. So it'll be fine, even if that did happen. Now someone else, Briss. What a name, Briss. Welcome. Now, someone else is calling 23.2K before correction of 40%. What is 40% on 23.2K? Do you think there will be panic buying spree of BTC with big companies the next few days? I think so. I mean, like, the guy from MicroStrategy, he's looking like a genius at this point, right? He made a few big bets on Bitcoin, and you know what? It has worked out very, very, very well. When he bought Bitcoin, it was around like 14,000 or something, 13, 14,000. So his 425 million bet has probably rewarded him, $250 million. He's looking like a pure genius at this point. And you got to think that other companies are looking at that and wondering, okay, it's working out for them. It's working out for Square. It's working out for Mike Novogratz's company. It's working out with a lot of these billionaires that have bought their Bitcoin. They have openly said, I have bought Bitcoin, right? They're all looking like geniuses, so they don't want to fall behind. So I do think there's a lot of buying behind the scenes already. Even though a lot of these people are buying on, OTC market. But guess what? When the OTC market dries up, which I think it has been, where's the Bitcoin coming from? From the open exchanges, right? It has to come from somewhere. So I think there's going to be a lot more buying coming up. I think tomorrow you go see headlines everywhere. Honestly, tomorrow you go see every single news outlet is go talk about how Bitcoin is above 18,000 and it's only 2,000 away from all-time highs, and it's go build up that FOMO. So his average price was 10,000. Well, that's crazy then, right? That's almost doubled. So his 425 million, he's like close to 400 million in profits, right? That's crazy. Can I get you a deal on Tesla? No, but I could get you a referral. If you use my referral link, you get 1,000 free supercharger miles. Here's the thing about Tesla, and I didn't compute this until recently, right? If you're thinking about getting a Tesla with full self-driving, which you really should. If you're getting a Tesla, you gotta get full self-driving, right? Here's the thing. I know a lot of people tend to wait because they're waiting for new features on a Tesla to come out or whatever, right? Like a new hardware feature that can't be upgraded over there. But because FSD keeps getting more expensive, in essence, your car is actually appreciating and not depreciating, right? I didn't think about it until recently because I started checking Tesla's website, and I saw that they had a couple like new used Model Ys being sold. And before they didn't have that, you had to custom order. Now there's a few on there, right? And I'm looking at it. It's similarly configured to mine that I just purchased recently. But those two had like a few thousand miles. So technically they're like used, but they still say it's new. But they were being sold for a few thousand more than what I paid, right? So I'm like, how could they sell like used Teslas for more than what I paid? Well, it's because the price of full self-driving went up by $2,000. It used to be $8,000 to add on FSD. Now it's $10,000, like just weeks afterwards. So now it costs you $2,000 more to get FSD. That price will never come down. And in the future, FSD will go up in price, 12,000, 14,000, 20,000, kind of like Bitcoin, right? So it gets more and more expensive to buy a Tesla. So those people that have it already, their cars are actually appreciating. I mean, it's wild if you think about it. It really is. That's why if you calculate like some of these new cars, like Model 3s, Model Ys especially, right? And even the Model Xs, if you look at used ones, they don't really depreciate that much unless you're really finding a really old one with high miles. But if you look at the ones from the last few years, they have pretty much stayed consistent. And that's because FSD has been making up for it. It's actually a really wild thing. I didn't really think about it until recently. But I'm just mentioning that for those of you guys that are looking at a Tesla. XRP is slow. Well, don't worry. Don't worry. Catherine, I got the message for you, right? I alone have a video about XRP that no one else has. It's the most informative video, and once you watch it, it assures you that if you're holding, that you made the right decision. So I'll show that in a little bit. Not right now, though. I'll show that before the end of the video. End of the year prediction. Well, I think it's going to be at 20,000. I think I drew this out back in January, right? So my prediction is more accurate than Bitcoin Time Traveler. I'm just going to call it. But I was projecting that Bitcoin is going to be at 20,000, because I'm simply following past logic here, mimicking the last 4-year cycle. I drew these arrows out. I'm like, well, at the end of the year, this is about the same time frame as last time to get back to all-time high. Once you get there, right, then you go on a crazy parabolic rise. 1,500% rise up to 300,000. That's 2021, right? But right now, you can see Bitcoin is moving so fast, it's going to hit 20,000 before the end of the year, right? So what's looking like is maybe we'll see something like this drop. So after 20,000, we could see something like this come down a little bit and then come right back up. But I think at the end of the year, It should be at 20,000. I think it should be. And those of you guys that's wondering why is this off? Well, this chart, this BLX, this index is usually slow by a day or so. So don't panic like, oh, Bitcoin just fell down 1,000 points. No, it didn't. But yeah, so I mean, this is right on track. This is right on track, guys. So if we're following the same footsteps as the last 4-year cycle, which is pretty much to a T right now, right? Even with this drop down to 3,800, we've recovered so quickly that really it means nothing, right? So if we're following the same footsteps, then Bitcoin's on path for a 1,500% increase in 2021, just like last time, just like how it went from 1,200 to 20,000. No one thought Bitcoin would go up to 20,000, and it did so purely on FOMO alone, without any of the other things that's happening right now, right? This time, FOMO has not hit yet. So in 2021, there's going to be a lot of FOMO. There's going to be a ton of FOMO. So it could happen. It could happen. Here, I'll bring up Google Trends. So let's do buy Bitcoin. It's funny. It's projecting that this term is actually going to go down. Why? This shows you how little interest there is right now among retail investors for Bitcoin. Google is actually projecting that it's going to go down for this week. So we'll see, right? So right now, even for this year, the search term buy Bitcoin is nowhere close to even back in May of 2020. And you look at, the last 5 years, we're nowhere close to that. We're nowhere close to that, right? So this kind of shows you where we are with retail FOMO. It's non-existent right now. It's non-existent. So there's a lot of potential. Interesting enough, this morning, Nevada was number 1 in terms of a state searching for Bitcoin. Now it has turned to Hawaii for some reason. But interesting that Hawaii, such a small state, is number 1 for Bitcoin. New Jersey is number 5. A lot of these smaller states are really up there. I'm just wondering, what is the least? West Virginia, Mississippi, South Dakota, Wisconsin. Why is no one in Wisconsin caring about Bitcoin? That's weird. Anyways, and look at it. Cash App, number 1. So people are looking at where to buy Bitcoin. So they're looking at Cash App. And then they're looking at Robinhood. Then they're looking at Binance. And for whatever reason, people are looking at IOTA. So I don't get that. And queries, Ethereum. People are checking Ethereum. Ripple. People are still checking Ripple at this point. Binance, GDAX, buy Bitcoin, and Cash App. So Cash App is hot. That is why Square stock is so hot. Because they got in early. Jack Dorsey's big Bitcoin bull, right? Cash App is making a lot of money now on Bitcoin transactions, right? That is why PayPal is copying. PayPal is like, we're not gonna let Jack take all the money, all the fun. So that's why PayPal is coming in, and PayPal is enabling Bitcoin trading for everyone. And when FOMO hits, that's like perfect, right? Everyone can take advantage of it. So yeah, stars are aligning. It seems like everything is aligning right now, right? It's really good. So right now it seems like Bitcoin stalled a little bit. Still very high compared to this morning. We hit as high as 18.5 just now, right? Let's look at some of the shorter indicators, like 1 hour. No, let's go below 5 minutes. So 5 minutes. There we go. 5 minutes is coming down, right? So 5 minutes, when this bottoms out, it looks like it wants to shoot right back up, right? So we were as high as 18.5. 5 minutes is bottoming out. We're climbing up real fast. What about like 15 minutes? 50 minutes, we're still on the way down a little bit, but you could see, oh, Bitcoin actually fell to 18.1, 18.2 not too long ago. But again, you can see the red candlestick being wiped out pretty quickly right now. So 15 minutes, even though it's high, I mean, none of this matters when people are just buying, right? And people are buying right now. Asia's just buying like by the billions right now, which is why things are going up so much. 1 hour, RSI is coming down a little bit. So, I mean, most of these time frames, Bitcoin is oversold. I mean, overbought. 4 hour, very high, but not as high as before. 4 hour over here. At one point, RSI was at 87. Right now it's at 82. So there's still room to grow. Daily, same thing. RSI is high, but not as high as before. And weekly, not as high as before. So there's still room to grow. So I think the logical place for Bitcoin to end up is 20,000. And then it'll be interesting to see what happens. You know, we're not that far off now. We got almost 900 people tuned in. There's a lot of people. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit that notification bell, and also follow me on Twitter, because a lot of times I hear that notifications aren't working and stuff like that. So I usually post on Twitter, so at least you get notified that way. Also, if you are new, you can see on my QR code for Vegas Fun. I do plan on having the biggest gathering of Bitcoin people. We're going to have a good old time there. But if you want to join, right, you have to contribute. And someone did already. Someone did. Actually, many people did. So I appreciate that. I do want to meet up with some of you guys. Hopefully after COVID is over, the vaccine is out, people can travel again, you know. I'm looking forward to that. Here's my bottle. It's Mr. Jim today. You know, I've come to like Mr. Jim better than Mr. Jameson, so starting to drink a lot more Jim Bean. Cold-Blooded Savage, welcome back. There's a lot of resistance at 65,000. Yeah, probably, Marco. Probably. Oh, that's funny. That's actually really funny. Time to check my portfolio. I know all of you guys are checking your portfolio right now. It's looking pretty good. I'll say that. Jim Beam Black is... You know why I like Jim Beam? Because it doesn't have that smoky flavor. I actually don't like my whiskey with that really smoky flavor. That's why I actually don't like Jack Daniels that much. Jim Beam just like, it's just smooth. It's just really smooth, especially with the, you know, touch of something, touch of honey, splash of Coke or whatever. I really like Jim Beam. Wild Turkey is also pretty good. If you guys have tried it, Wild Turkey is pretty good too. Jim Beam Black Cherry or Jim Beam's Devil's Cut is really good. I have to try those. I've just tried different flavor. I've tried like apple and honey, and those are delicious. Really, really good. I haven't tried Devil's Cut though. Do I use Coinbase? No, I do not. Keith, thank you. Appreciate it. Join me. I don't think I've tried Hennessy. I mean, I used to drink Jameson all the time, but I feel like Jim Beam is a little bit smoother. Remember when Lambo? How about now? Well, a lot of you guys, you know, could probably afford it now, right? A lot of you guys have been buying, but dollar cost averaging, I know a lot of you guys have done really, really well. So, I mean, your dreams of getting a Lambo is probably here or around the corner, right? I know last time in 2019 when we hit 14,000, I've received so many tweets or comments about people saying, you know what, thank you for helping me along the journey. I'm now back even, or I'm in the green. But now we're at 18,000. So if you believed right? You continue to journey and you continue to dollar cost average and buy, you're in better off position now, right? So I know a lot of you guys are probably doing very well right now. So, I mean, in terms of Lambo dreams, I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably there. And like I said, some of you guys are beyond that. You're millionaires now, right? So if you are, don't forget good old George that helped you get get you where you are. Why is EDC up 18%? I don't know. I don't know why. Let's talk about Litecoin. What about Litecoin? You know, it's funny because I usually don't check my comments that much. So a few days ago, I mentioned how Litecoin still doesn't have Mimblewimble up. And the reason for that is probably Charlie doesn't want it up because he's afraid of regulators and regulations with exchanges, you know, because they don't like privacy coins. They want to track things so they could tax it. And then I got some comments. Like one guy, he claims he's like the main developer of Mimblewimble on Litecoin. And he's like, you know, that's not true at all, blah, blah, blah. Right? And I'm like, look at what Charlie has said before. And I even went through today. I don't know why, but I went through like 5 of his old interviews. He even said that. Ever since 2018, he's been saying that. He's like, well, you know, security is privacy is a touchy thing. It's a controversial thing. You know, regulators don't like that. We got to work with them. And I mean, he's been saying that for years. That is why Mimblewimble's not done. He's dragging his feet on it. And then I call him out before because the leaked chat, you know, showed that no one was working on it. He didn't want to work on it, right? And then after that, he made a commitment to work on it, so maybe he hired someone or whatever. But still, I think that's the main reason. Mimblewimble or whatever privacy feature could have been added on years ago. But the reason why he's not adding it, I believe, is because he's afraid that once Litecoin has it, exchanges will start delisting it. Because that's starting to happen already. Monero, Dash, Zcash, they're being delisted all over the world now. Because regulators don't like them. They can't track their transactions. They can't tax the people that are using them. That's a problem from them, right? So I believe that's the thing. Why is there so many no's? Why so many no's in here? Oh, Anthony, did anyone get a crypto tax letter from IRS? That's why everyone's saying no in the chat. I'm like, okay. Go on, I'll start from the beginning if you donate to the Vegas fund. What's the best altcoin to buy right now? Not named Polkadot or Ethereum. John, why do you have a check mark next to your name? Do you own a channel? Yeah, why is that? Why do you have a check mark next to your name? Anyways, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. There's so many good ones. I don't know. VeChain is a long-term play. I really like it. I think Aave is also a good midterm play because I think people can't help themselves and they want to put down collateral and borrow and also stake. So I think Aave is in a really good position for that. I mean, a lot of the big caps, you know, like you said, Polkadot, Ethereum, Tezos, I mean, even Binance Coin, Cardano, these are all solid plays, right? But they just haven't been moving that much. I think from the DeFi space, you know, Uniswap is still in a very good position. They're still the biggest DEX out there, right? So some of these DeFi plays, like you could also consider Chainlink in there, even though Chainlink is not really DeFi, but they're solid too. So there's a lot of altcoins out there. Cornet, now you're just spreading FUD. No way VeChain is as bad as XRP. Now you're just spreading FUD. Jazzy Band, I appreciate that, but what is that? Are you trying to show your IG name? Is Aave the same as Lend? Yes. Lend did a 100-to-1 split to become Aave. So basically it's the same company, but they decided to get rid of the Lend token. So it is never too late to buy Bitcoin. So if you missed my entire stream, the one thing to get out, the one thing you should have got out of it is that it's not too late to buy Bitcoin. Maybe not at this second, but set yourself on a schedule. Don't go overboard. Buy what you could afford, right? Dollar cost average and hodl. People that have done that over the years have made millions or billions from Bitcoin. Even had you done that since the 3,800 drop in March till now, you're up 4 to 5%, 4 to 5x, 4 to 500%. So think about that. That's within a very short amount of time frame too. So if you get nothing out of this stream, the one thing that you should take away is that it's not too late right now, because whatever Bitcoin is at right now will be way cheaper than where it is in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. In 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, Bitcoin will probably be nearing $1 million. So yeah, it's not too late. All I've learned tonight is Jim Beam is better than Jack Daniels. Well, that's according to me. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with that. You can't go wrong with Jack and Coke still, but I like Jim Beam better. I should have been buying less toilet paper and paper towels and more BTC. Ripple MC, I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're not being discouraged by all the negative Ripple talk. I'm glad. I'm glad you're still around. I haven't seen you in a while. Gentleman Jack, I'll have to try it. What TV shows are you watching? I'm really, really, really sad to see my favorite show, Supernatural, coming to an end. I think the season finale is... I think last week was season finale, but they're having a 2-hour special this week. So I'm really sad about it. They defeated God, which really doesn't make any sense. I wish the ending was better. But I'm still watching Star Trek Discovery. Mandalorian is back. Mandalorian this year, season 2 has been excellent. I'm still waiting for all these Marvel shows that Disney Plus is promising, but they're still not here. I don't know what's going on. Outside of that, I don't have any other shows. Everything has been canceled. I don't know what else to watch. There's a lot of Netflix shows that binge watched. Evil on Netflix is pretty good if you guys haven't seen that yet. And I think that's it. I don't think I binge watched anything else. Jay Quinn, were you the one? Well, I appreciate that, but I don't know. I don't know if the guy you referred to is actually called Texas West Capital, because he keeps changing his name, so I don't know if that's him. But if you are who you say you are, I appreciate it. I really do. Dion, I'm telling you, Star Trek Discovery is the best Star Trek out there, by far. I've watched them all. The ones before were kind of cheesy. Discovery is awesome. Awesome. Even better than Picard. Picard is good, but Discovery is even better. So if you haven't watched it, you really should. You really should. XRP is not my top coin. Love it, but got to make money. Well, that's good. But then why do you make your screen name Ripple MC? Aave is actually good. I think Aave has been on a tear this last week. Aave will do well anytime people want to start leveraging, right? So I don't think that's going to change. And their business model is great for the project. They lend out like pretty much only 50% of what the collateral is, right? So they're going to be around for a while. And another one, Celsius, came out of nowhere. There is a small cap that just came out that hit Binance that I think could have potential because it's in the same space. It's a small cap. I forgot what it was. Hold on, let me check. Because I think lending companies in general, they have a really good business model. I don't like lending because I feel like people that utilize lending will probably just get burned. So I'm not advocating that you should put down your collateral and start, borrowing. But for a business, right, it's great. It's great. So what's the one I saw recently? Oh yeah, hard protocol. So hard protocol is built on Kava. So basically it's a lending platform, but they're utilizing multiple platforms and multiple tokens. So they even take like BNB and several others, XRP. They take several tokens, not just Ethereum based tokens. And they're backed by Binance, OKX, BitMEX, even though BitMEX is not really good anymore, but still. So I just saw them recently. I didn't know they rebranded. They were called something else, and they rebranded to Hard. And I'm like, what is Hard, right? But that's what they are. So just giving you guys that little tidbit. It does not mean they're going to fly to the moon tomorrow, but they're in the lending space. They look promising. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. If it goes up 10x or 100x, it may happen. If it tanks 99%, it can happen. But it's in the same space. Chainlink is showing a bull flag. Okay, well, let's see if that's true. So I don't know where you're seeing the bull flag, but it is stuck in this channel. This is not a bullish flag, right? Is this a bullish pennant? Is this what it's called, bullish pennant? I don't know what that's called, but it's been pretty consistent, going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So except this time it didn't reach all the way up. So it's looking like if this continues, then the next stop for Chainlink will probably be about 15 something. And then if it follows the same trend, then it'll come back down to about 12 something and then continue forward, right? But right now, Chainlink has not been that strong. I mean, it has climbed stupidly high for this year, right? I mean, it went up thousands and thousands % It already reached all-time highs for itself, right? So now, taking a breather, that's okay. That's okay. But let's look at a longer scale, like weekly for Chainlink, if this couldn't fix itself. Maybe not. Okay, here we go. So if you're looking at weekly, at this point was actually perfect time to buy. When Chainlink hit about $7, which was not too long ago. If you look at a weekly, stochastic bottomed out. RSI didn't bottom out, stochastic bottomed out, and you can see it's on the uprise, right? So right now, you can see that stochastic for the weekly is still very low. So this is actually, in long term, this is actually still a very good pickup. It could definitely move much higher. But keep in mind, this is the weekly. So if you're going to the daily, there are going to be swings. But Chainlink right now, not looking too bad. But with that said, can it move faster than Bitcoin? Because even though it's going up, if it's not moving faster than Bitcoin, you don't want to touch it, right? You don't want to lose BTC value in your portfolio. You only want to gain BTC value. So that's the other thing too. You got to worry about, can your altcoin outperform Bitcoin at this point? If it cannot, then don't think about it, right? So you don't want to be stuck with a portfolio where the BTC value is going down because altcoins can't keep up with Bitcoin, right? So you got to make sure you're well diversified so that doesn't happen. Mostly, I would say, put most of it in Bitcoin. So, all right. So maybe it looks like I've streamed long enough, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Looks like temporarily we have hit that top of 18.5. So now we've come down a little bit, right? I did mention a lot of these indicators are still sky high. For example, the 15-minute is still coming down, right? But, last few times where the 15-minute hit about 50 on RSI, it's turned and came back up. So we're not too far off from there, right? So it could be that Bitcoin falls a little bit more and shoots right back up. The important thing is we're above 18,000. It doesn't matter. We're above 18,000. This is a very positive spot to be in. Tomorrow, if I do plan on having a stream in the morning, we could be at 20,000 already. Who knows what happens tonight or what happens tomorrow morning? We could have some craziness happen, right? One thing's for sure, Bitcoin is on the rise. And I do believe that 20,000 is right around the corner. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe it is tomorrow, or maybe this weekend, but that will be right around the corner. So it's gonna be good. Wait for it. Pretty solid drop. 18,000. 77 is really the point you want to hold, because I've showed you guys this is the last resistance before 20,000, right? So this could continue on, but let's see. Let's see if it can hold at 17.7. If it could, that would be fantastic. And then it's going to move up from there, right? But right now you could see RSI is coming down. Let's see what happens. Before I let you guys go, I just want to see where this goes. That's a pretty significant drop. Okay, so it just touched the second resistance or support of 17.3. So now, now it looks like it wants to come back hard. See, these resistance supports, they actually do work. Some people, and I used to be one of them, I'm like, oh, all these are nonsense. No, they kind of work. They kind of do work, right? So I'm not just drawing lines out of nowhere. It's because Bitcoin utilized these points before as either resistances or supports. You could see that it just bounced off 17.3 like perfectly, right? Like it could not have been more perfect in terms of a bounce back. So stuff like this is bound to happen. Nothing to be panicking about. This is actually really, really good, because it's, what it does is resets the indicators, right? So that means it's not as oversold, and that means it's ready to move up. But ultimately, this is all short term. If you're in it for the long haul, you're in it for life-changing wealth, or wife-changing wealth, I should say, none of this really matters. What you want to concentrate on is the bigger picture, which is this. And it's been going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And the reason for that is because Grayscale and others, they're buying up Bitcoin like it's out of fashion or something, right? It's just look at how fast this is, this coming back up. This is what I expected. But anyways, I'll let you guys go with this so you could go back to sleep, or go to sleep if you could sleep right now. I'll probably have this live session tomorrow, and we'll see where Bitcoin is then. It could be 19,000. It could be 20,000 tomorrow. I have a feeling that we're not going to see this stop until 20,000, and then it'll be really interesting to see what happens then. All right, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Those of you guys that super chatted, I really appreciate it. Those of you guys that donated to Vegas Fund, I appreciate it. This is all leading up to something great, and hopefully you guys are feeling excitement right now. There's going to be a lot more of this in the future. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Oh, I promised. I forgot. I promised those of you guys that are XRP fans, I got something for you. I got something for you that'll make you glad that you held on XRP all these years. So take a listen.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.